that you got going on over there.
All right, so I am today here with Jessy Custodio, my old friend. Jessy works for Automotive Mastermind. Why is it always a problem to say it? Automotive Mastermind, which is a great tool for um, equity mining. Let's call it that. Jessy will maybe call it something else, right? And just background. I know your background, but Jessy, go ahead and introduce yourself a little bit.
Well, hi everybody. My name's Jesse. Actually, I worked with Miko a long time ago when we first got in the car business together, almost 20 years ago now. Spent most of my career on the retail side for about 16 years, and then joined Mastermind about 3 years ago.
Awesome. So, as we discussed, you agreed to share your wisdom and knowledge in equity mining with Automotive Mastermind, but also, even if it's maybe a different dealer that's not willing to go there, or maybe it's the manufacturer that have their own proprietary tool, like I know Toyota has Signal, which is like a smaller version of equity mining tool. So, as we discussed, we're going to break down just four most important, I guess, subdomains of equity mining. What are the most important things? And where I come to it is a lot of dealers, especially dealers with brands that are not as busy, like not a Toyota Honda dealer, that salespeople or maybe just sales departments are struggling with creating more business, right? When the business is slow, maybe people not walking in. What can you do and how do you do that? So you mentioned that the most important thing is working the service drive. Can you expand on that? What exactly do you mean by that?
Yeah, exactly. That is really one of the pillars I would say of mining your portfolio or your book of business is having visibility on the top prospects coming into your service drive every day. Remember, these are customers that drive your on-brand vehicles. You guys are servicing these cars, and there are a lot of opportunities there in your own drive every day coming through your service department. So, how do we actually go after those customers? With a tool like Mastermind, we're able to give visibility on a customer's equity situation, what their payment is, what the balance is on their loan, what an upgrade would look like when considering current inventory, incentives, and all the other data points that are out there to try and see, okay, what is our best game plan for this customer? But the first thing you need to do is just get a list of your appointments. And if you want to do it manually, you can, but go ahead and see if you can pull a payoff on each of these customers. Can you figure out what their warranty situation is, right? And put a game plan together to try and make a connection with that customer and either purchase their vehicle outright. Remember, they're there for service. Who knows what their car is there for? Or of course, the best goal would be to take the car in trade, of course, and sell them a new vehicle.
Okay, awesome. And yeah, I remember from working at the dealership where we worked together when it was usually it's not busy in the morning. I will get to work at like 8, 8:30, and I would just go and do something with service customers. So what you're suggesting, smarter approach will be the day before, get a list of appointments that are coming in, work through that list, maybe identify people that you really have to talk to, and maybe some people there's really not much to talk to if it's like first year service, right?
Right. That's where having a really intelligent tool like Mastermind comes into play because you don't want to talk to every customer. There's some
Right.
customers that are very upside down in their cars, and those are usually the first ones that will want to have a conversation with you because they're going to think that you can save them from this situation, right? And while we do the best we can, there's some customers where it's just a new car is not going to make sense right now, right? And having a very intelligent tool is going to help you kind of avoid those landmines before you strike up a conversation with them. And you might be using up time that would be better spent talking to a customer that you have a real chance with, right? So the old approach, like when you and I got into the business, where hey, customer drives in. If the car doesn't look brand spanking new, we're going to go talk to them and just at the very least give them a business card, right? Try and make a basic connection. But now with the technology that's available to us, we're able to have a much more targeted approach and keep our focus to customers that are both going to be receptive and that we have the potential to make a car deal with.
Right. So basically, not only you have a list, you have two lists. You like a Santa Claus. You have the naughty and nice list, right? You have the list of people you want to talk to and the
You
people
could
you're going
call
to
it
run
red and
away from.
green. Yeah, yeah,
Oh, red and
exactly.
green. Okay, cool. All right, so that's awesome. So service drive is, and it makes sense. They're already there. They already brought their car. You can appraise it. You can do a lot of things because the customer is there. And I
Right.
think you mentioned like, how would the RO? Are you gonna know the RO, like the cost of possible repairs, only after they drop their car, right?
Yeah, so again, pulling it back to Mastermind, you've actually got a screen you can look at in Mastermind that'll tell you the customers that are currently in for service and what their RO dollar amount is if we have that connection with their DMS system. So it helps you quickly kind of filter out and scan out the really high dollar amount customer pay ROs that could be a headache for everybody, but obviously, in being able to coach the customer a little bit and present them an option that might make a little more sense for them, being able to kind of quickly filter out those high dollar ROs is a really strong tactic to mining your service drive. That's after the customer arrives for their appointment. So you'd want to have that conversation probably at pickup.
Right. So okay, but now it gets a little complicated. I'm just thinking as you're talking about it, because you have the service advisor that wants that RO, right? So you need to have really good relationship with these people so that you don't fight them for those customers, right?
That's a
How,
really good point. And that is an issue that comes up, and a lot of dealers have different ways to approach it. Even some of the big enterprise groups, clients that we have, even have a spiff or a bonus built into the pay plan for the service advisor to kind of cover them and to make them interested in this. Because let's face it, I mean, this is a two-way street. To really do this effectively, you do need the service drive bought in, right? So there's a few stores that I service personally that actually will still guarantee that RO for that service advisor. They won't
okay,
turn it internal if the service advisor, if that car ends up being an off-street purchase or taken in trade, they'll guarantee that RO to that service advisor. They don't turn it internal, so they don't lose any business. And then on top of that, if the service advisor got involved and might have even brought it up, we have like leave behind offers that you can print out in Mastermind, where in some stores, the service advisors themselves are actually stapling those to the ROs, giving them to the customer, even starting the conversation. They get involved, they'll get a referral spiff or a buy spiff or something like that as well. Because I mean, at the end of the day, when that happens, when we can put a new car on the road, I mean, everybody wins, right? That service advisor will down the road have another chance to service that customer's car. And yeah, as long as the RO gets guaranteed, or there's a way to kind of make sure that nobody's missing out in this case, because let's face it, it is a win for everybody. It really isn't an issue. So, and I will say that most of our clients have some part of the pay plan built in or some way to take care of the service department when something like this happens.
perfect, awesome. All right. So the second item that we discussed was and something, you know, I know you and I we really believed in it when we were selling it, the lease portfolio.
Right. Yeah. So,
So can you
so
expand on that? Yep.
yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, of course, all brands, all dealers have different size lease portfolios, but no matter who you are, that portfolio is dwindling right now, right? We've seen less of the maturities go down gradually ever since COVID, since the great lease buyout movement, where everybody had all this equity in their car, they're buying out their leases, and it's still happening. And dealers are still going to that, right? And having customers buy out their leases last minute because there's still some inventory struggles, right? If the customer, they wait for the customer to raise their hand when they have a week left on their lease, they have no option to present this customer. They're going to do a lease buyout, or that customer might defect and go to another brand, right? Effectively mining your lease portfolio isn't just looking at your maturity dates, right? I mean, it's better to look at the whole picture. What kind of miles does this customer have? Are they already over? Are there any incentives we can use to kind of cover their last few payments? What does a deal look on a new car now, even rolling in their car, taking it in a few months early? Or at the very least, should we start this conversation 3 to 6 months out and make sure we have a game plan in place for this customer's lease to come up? Let's order them a car. Let's take them off the market before they get in, right? Some of our most effective stores with lease retention actually start reaching out to the customer 12 months, a full year before their lease is up right now. Even with no incentives, no pull ahead, no anything available, but they want to keep that customer as close to the chest as possible to make sure that they have every chance to release them a new car.
Yeah, the one thing that I remember from just working in a store is that uh, the problem is when uh, salespeople get pushed to make those calls, but they really don't understand the process and don't know what to say. So they call like 9 months ahead and ask, okay, are you ready to upgrade your lease? Why would I upgrade my lease, right? So instead,
Yeah.
more like a concierge approach where it's
Right.
like you notify the customer, just want to remind you, you have 9 months left, wanted to check what you're thinking, so we're prepared and we're going to guide you through the process. I'm going to
Right.
send you some information. Let's have the car pre-inspected, right? Things like that. Okay. Anything else on lease portfolio?
No, I mean that's about it. But it's like you said, right? I mean, you always want to keep in mind where the customer is in the process and have a game plan that fits that time period for that customer.
Right. Okay. So the next one is once we worked all the lease portfolio is the finance portfolio. What do
Yeah.
you do with that?
Well, the finance portfolio is really what makes up the bulk of most dealers' inventory. Now, I mean, the one side effect of lease portfolios dwindling, even with lease-heavy brands like your Highline Luxury, is that when lease rates start to decline, start to get worse, customers start to buy their cars instead because those numbers make more sense. I'd say on average, I mean, most of our stores would have at least half of their entire customer base are financing their cars, if not more. So it's really the biggest pool that we have to work with. So, I mean, what I would recommend is to try and figure out ways to condense and filter and get that huge number of finance customers down to a much more workable list, whether you look at the model that they're driving, right? Like, what is the car that we have in stock right now that has the best APRs for a finance? Okay, and work backwards from there, right? Look at your inventory, look at your incentives that you have available, look at the cars that are doing well in trade. What can you generally make a good deal with right now? And try and filter your list back that way. There's a lot of different tools out there to kind of parse your list and get through this information. But again, Mastermind does make it very easy to quickly generate a targeted list. And then from there, you can filter out, show me the customers that have the most equity or what vehicles have the best incentives right now. What customer could we potentially lower their payment? Look at equity situation, not just equity situation, but what is their monthly payment? What's their spend from a cash flow perspective? Can we put a deal in front of this customer that's attractive?
Cool. All right. So the last is the actual approach. Like, what do you say when you make those calls to lease or finance per customers? And I know I've used Automotive Mastermind before you started working there, right? So I know it's an impressive tool.
Mhm.
Also, there's something that's, can you touch that Automotive Mastermind also gets other data? Is it Polk or something else?
That's right. So Mastermind is owned by S&P Global. We're part of the mobility division of S&P Global. So Polk Automotive, which if you've been in the business for a long time, you've heard of them. It's basically a giant registration database. Also, Carfax is one of our sister companies. So just from those two companies alone were able to ingest a huge amount of data into Mastermind with both vehicle history reports and ownership data. But there's a giant web of information that Mastermind pulls from thousands of data points from either TransUnion credit reporting agencies to social media, from DMS systems. And so, I mean, using that, all of that information, what Mastermind excels at is boiling that information down to very concise points and a single score that you're able to use as actionable intelligence and reach out to a customer, right? So,
Right.
with that, I mean, what's our game plan when we make a phone call? I mean, if you don't have Mastermind, I mean, the first place I would start is if the customer has equity, right? Which we're able to, most of the time you can find out pretty easily. If you have a customer that has equity in their car, the first thing I would do is say, we need your car, right? We're short on pre-owned inventory. My manager's having me call all customers with whatever you're driving, right? And we're paying top dollar. And I just want to know if we can put something in front of you that's so attractive, would you consider selling us your vehicle or trading it in on a new one? We would, do everything we could to earn your business on a new vehicle as well. But the main thing is we want your car, right? Make it sound like you're trying to get something from the customer, which is true. I mean, most dealerships have a buy spiff, right? And if you're able to just buy a car, that's great. But we all know the real end goal here is to upgrade the customer and get them into a new car. But acting like you want something from the customer or starting the conversation off that way is going to kind of disarm that customer. Hey, this isn't a sales call. They actually want something from me, or they want
Which is true,
to,
right?
which is
We
true, right?
see
That's
how
I mean,
auctions are a disaster right
yeah,
now. Everybody
prices are
wants.
through the roof, right?
Mhm.
I mean, I've seen dealerships paying over original MSRP at used car auctions right now.
Yeah.
Not considering transportation fees, right? All the unknowns that go into it. Meanwhile, you can also talk to a customer that might not have uh, looked up what their car is worth yet, and you don't have to deal with them shopping a bunch of places or trying to outbid a bunch of dealerships, but instead you're just having a conversation with one of your own loyal customers. And let's face it, it's true, right? Most of these people, if they have a nice car with equity, the dealership would like to have it. So it's a natural progression, a natural conversation, and at the end of the day, it's the truth, right? So we can start off a conversation that way, and then build from there. A tool like Mastermind again, I'll just I'm going to share my screen here just for a second because
Sure.
it does help to just be able to have your lips loaded a little bit here, right? So I'm going to quickly just pull up. This is a customer's deal sheet. This is kind of our where we get our game plan for when you click on a customer in Mastermind. This is all the information you're going to see from personal information, phone numbers, any notes, history of the customer at the dealership for service department, all their past deals. But here in the middle, we're looking at behavior drivers, right? What are the main motivating factors for this customer? What would, if we bring up, that would give us the best chance to upgrade this customer to a new car? So right off the bat, we're telling you this customer's warranty's expired. They still have a ton of payments left on their car. They can get a new one right now with no money down and lower their payment by a couple $100 a month. This is a grand slam scenario. Obviously, not everyone looks like this, but you get the idea. We're basically going to put everything, oh, sorry about that, in front of you here that will kind of give you the best chance to really further this conversation along, right? What their equity situation is, what incentives that they would qualify for, and this is all specifically based on this customer, right? So if a salesperson wants to give a call to this customer, Mastermind will quickly, in about 30 seconds, give them all the main data points that they're going to need to be able to further that conversation along. And for the folks that really like to have it laid out for them, we even have an AI tool here built in that will think for a second and then give you a full-on call script or game plan for a phone call right here in Mastermind for any customer. So to look at this customer's data points, and bring up both the reason for calling, what are the benefits, incentives, savings, potential concerns the customers might have, an offer that we can send the customer right then and there, and of course the call to action. So again, Mastermind really is the best in the business, but as far as all of the things that would make sense to bring up to a customer that you're calling, warranty is really important, right? If all of a sudden they're out of coverage, that would be a great reason to let a customer know. Quick health check, wanted to let you know your warranty's expired. Maybe you even just get a warranty sale out of it, right? Either way, there's nothing bad that can come out of this phone call if it's handled the right way. The customer would probably appreciate to know that, and then that could be the end of it if there's nothing there. But that's it, right? What the customer's payment situation is the new car a redesign, right? And this customer is driving a 2018. The new 2025 is all new truck, new engine, new interior, exterior, new technology, everything, right? Gas savings. There's a lot of things you can bring up here right off the bat. So again, really just having your facts straight, having a game plan together, and knowing what would be the most compelling reasons for that customer to come in and see you and talk about getting a new car.
Great. So it looks like just by having these points, this cold call becomes a warm call because right away you can say, "Hey, Jesse, I see that this is the situation on your account. I got a notification. That's why I'm calling." Right.
That's
So
a good
now,
point.
right. And
Yeah,
like,
I'd even take it a step further and just say when you're mining your own portfolio, your own book of business, there's no such thing as a cold call. These are your
of course,
customers,
yeah. Yeah. Well,
So
well that,
that's the best
that
part
should
about
be
it.
right. Well, calling your own customers should go without saying, right? That you
Right.
should be doing it anyway. But this is like orphan customers or like customers that whatever, just service that didn't even buy there,
Absolutely. Hmm.
right? Okay. And then like I'm just thinking out loud because like I have this one approach for everything is the alternate choice. Like I would have this conversation, for example, I see that you have some equity or like our used car manager needs new Silverado, I mean used Silverados. Would you be interested in selling it or would you trade it? Right. So always go for two options for the customer that both of them
Exactly.
work for you. Or like, I see your
Exactly.
warranty is expiring next month. Would you consider getting a new car or do you want to keep your car and get extra warranty for it?
Right. Right. Great point. Yeah. And I mean, I think what you said as far as offering the appraisal and would you be interested in selling it first might even disarm that customer just a step further because, okay,
Yeah.
this really is what they're calling about. But hey,
Mhm.
if you still need a car, we will more than take care of you on a new one too, right? And no matter where the conversation stops, if they just, you know what, actually, I'm gonna I don't need a third car anymore, whatever it is. They might just sell the thing. There's all kinds of reasons that happens. But of course, the end goal. Let's try and at least get them in, get the appraisal, show them what a new one looks like, and see if we can do a full-on upgrade.
Okay. Cool. So I have a curveball to throw at you. So I have a BMW i4. I'm at the end of second year of a 3-year lease. I have total mileage allowance of 45,000 and I'm at about 44.
Oh wow, not as bad as me, but I'm gonna be there soon. Yeah,
Okay, so
I
what would
have
you say to me?
Well, it's funny. We live the same life. I think
Yeah.
my car is 16 months old. I have 35,000 miles on it, and
Yep.
so I think when have about a year left, we're gonna have about the same mileage. I'm gonna have the same
Hmm.
mileage that you do. I think that we're still driving per mile the most cost-effective way to do it. And you and I are both going to have some difficult decisions to make as we get a bit closer. But we'll have to look at what an upgrade will look like. But something tells me that I think when we have about 3 months left on our lease, we'll have to make a tough decision on what's gonna be the lesser of two evils.
Yeah. Okay, so
So either
what would you tell a customer like yourself or like me?
Yeah, I mean that's a tough one because we kind of knew what we were getting into before we did it, right?
Yeah.
If you're taking out a mileage allowance of so much, but we know we're going to blow over. What I would look at is what a new deal would look like, rolling in your remaining 12 months of payments and starting fresh, versus what your projected mileage penalty would be if you kept the car and made on top of your normal monthly payment, right? Now, Mastermind again can quickly do that math for you, where it can show you both scenarios. If you keep the car to the end of the lease, your projected mileage is this. Here's what your penalty is going to be, right? And then you take that and you add that to your remaining payments, and you can look at your outstanding liability, right? Or we can look at trading in our car or turning in our car early, rolling those payments into a new lease or the balance of those payments into a new lease, starting fresh with a new mileage allowance, and just looking at from a cash flow perspective, at least over the next year, what the difference in cost is going to be. I don't have the numbers in front of me. It's probably going to be close, would be my guess, but um, it's a tough situation because there's really no right answer when we're in this much mileage trouble. I mean, no matter what, it's a case by case basis.
Right. But like this is like the worst case scenario. If we can handle that, we can handle anything. And I'm thinking,
Yeah.
so just like you
Are
said,
there loyalty rebates? Is there a pull ahead
right.
program, right? I mean, we would really need to look at all the elements of the equation to see what makes the most sense. There's some cars out there that even if you're driving way over miles, it's just going to make sense to just keep driving it, and still turn it in at the end of the lease and then figure out what to do with that mileage balance, right? Certain brands will give you a discount if you prepay additional miles, up to a certain point before your lease is up, right? So that's why it's hard to say in a specific case. With your BMW, I'd probably ride it out another 3 to 6 months or so, and then see if uh, and then see what's going to make the most sense as far as prepaying the mileage or just doing a new one right now.
Well, I'm actually seriously considering just buying it out because then I
Yeah,
don't pay for
yeah.
the
I
mileage.
mean, nobody like in our business likes that answer because kind of a lease buyout is it doesn't do the best things for retention, but there's some cases where it makes sense. I don't think, honestly, I don't think you or I are really in that boat. More of the guys that lease a car and then drive it for Uber and they're 100,000 miles over. I mean,
Right.
I think you do a lot of business with Toyota, so I mean, you probably see a lot of that, right?
Mhm.
And with that, I mean, there's no option, right? I mean, you've got to buy out the car, but with the way incentives and leasing works, I mean, I think that there's more things you could look at, and if you catch the right brand at the right time, there might be a way out of it and into a new lease that won't be that painful, and then this way you're not stuck with a depreciating asset. And EVs specifically are a tough one to buy out, because I mean, I have one myself, so I mean, I
Yeah.
get it. But owning one, buying, I mean, when the technology is evolving so quickly, it's hard to stay on top of those values and stay above water. I mean, if you bought out that car, you'd basically be, submitting to the next 5 years of being underwater on that car, which if you want to keep it that long, go for it. I mean, I got a young kid. Who knows if family's growing or anything. So I mean, I might need to upgrade, sooner than that. But I'm probably going to figure out a way out of the car before my lease is up. But also, it's a Hyundai, so I think the mileage penalties aren't as bad as they are on your that fancy BMW you're driving. But yeah, we'll have to see.
Yeah. Well, yeah, the horrors of driving another 5 years and a nice BMW. I don't know how I'm gonna deal with that. But Jesse, I also really like how like you're still a car salesman because like you automatically giving me this hope that something's gonna work out and trying to put me in a new
There's always
car.
hope.
Even though you don't sell them, it's like do you remember the joke like how many car salespeople does it take to screw a light bulb?
No, I don't. But
Well, why don't you
I'd love to hear.
follow me to my office and you'll be pleasantly
Yeah,
surprised.
I love it. Hey, I was going to tell you if you need a good referral at a BMW store, I can help you out. If there is a way out, I know a couple of people that I'm sure could help you find it.
Okay, and I know somebody at Hyundai Star.
Oh yeah, good. Yeah, so do I. So, but I appreciate it. I'll shop around.
All right.
So,
Thank you very much, Jesse. Thanks a lot.
thank you, sir.